This is music attorney Randy Ojeda. As an attorney, I've helped artists and bands secure hundreds of thousands of dollars in advances, and I've collected even more money in unpaid royalties owed to songwriters and producers. I've negotiated licensing deals, label deals, publishing and management deals, and so much more. And right now, I'm offering a free initial consultation for all artists because I truly believe that all musicians should have access to quality legal services. So find out what my firm can do to help your music career. Head to randyojedalaw.com and book a free consultation now. Welcome to Cigar City Radio. I'm your host, Randy Ojeda, and making the magic happen, Mr. Jason Solanas.
Have you ever when it was?
Depends on what you mean.
You know.
Yeah.
It can be a lot sometimes.
It can be.
Yeah,
it
just
can be.
fucking 6 hours of. For this episode, we attended Gasparilla Music Festival 2024. We spoke with local performers DJ Sandman and Alien House, as well as Tampa Jesuit Grad Aidan Bissett.
But before we get into all that, Jason, how'd you feel about GMF this year?
It was very good. It was very, very good. I was very impressed with some of the performers. Can't control the weather, but the weather kind of sucked.
Yeah. So Friday was perfect, okay? It was beautiful out. There wasn't really sun, but the weather was just right, and the crowds were enormous. And Julian B. Lane Park is a great location for that festival.
Perfect location for it.
Yeah, there was enough space for people to be there, but it didn't feel cramped. There was plenty of space for vendors and food. The stages seemed, enough of a distance apart from one another to where it felt like individual experiences
without bleeding into each other, which was great.
Yeah, it just felt more like a festival, and GMF has always been a festival, obviously, but it really felt like a larger festival than
it wasn't
has.
cramped at all.
That was really nice. So Friday was perfect, weather-wise at least. It was absolutely perfect. Performances went off without a hitch. And then Saturday came, and the rain came down.
It was a lot, man. It was a lot, and it was cold. It wasn't just rain, it was cold rain.
And it rained all day Saturday and all day Sunday, which, when was the last time that in Tampa it rained all day for 2 days in a row? I can't even remember.
It's been a little while, but the thing that really got me is it rained all day, 2 days in a row, when it was cold, specifically during the weekend. Monday came around, not a drop in sight.
Yeah, now the weather is just perfect today, but, we're recording this on Tuesday after the festival, but over the weekend, it was just miserable weather. And then GMF got the unfortunate news Saturday, late Saturday afternoon, that Lake Street Drive had suffered an illness, and we're going to have to cancel their Sunday performance. But I think they redeemed themselves, the festival at least, redeemed themselves because they were able to pull Killer Mike and Big Boy.
Ridiculous, dude. What a freaking performance.
It was insane. It was insane. We saw a lot of amazing performances all weekend. Kingfish was a very particular...
Yeah, he was a highlight for me.
Very particular highlight. Yeah. You know that we love Kingfish on this show, so that was a great performance to see. He headlined the Fortune stage, which is the second largest stage at the festival. And, for the people that stuck it out in the rain for that show, he played a cover of Regulators by Warren G. And I feel like I gave him that idea. I'm gonna claim that, because on this podcast, on the episode with Kingfish, I mentioned that I'd love to hear him soloing over Regulators by Warren G, and he did. He literally did that. So
I gotta reach out and see what's up with that.
I feel like he did that for me, but that was really cool too. Everybody was really into it. Everybody who was there.
Yeah.
But going back to Killer Mike and Big Boy, unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable performance. I mean, I didn't know that Killer Mike had lived in Tampa for a short time. I don't know what span of time, but he said he moved to Tampa St. Pete.
Yeah, he said his family moved.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the cities that he claimed as his own. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Killer Mike and Big Boy literally said that they went, basically straight from the strip club in Atlanta to the GMF stage. It was like they were literally booked and announced on Saturday, performed on Sunday night. As far as I know, Big Boy and Killer Mike have never performed together.
Pretty sure they said that.
Yeah, that seemed to be the vibe that they were. They said it had been years in the making.
Yeah,
for
and
them.
if they had, it wasn't headlining the festival.
Exactly, and they did a really good job of the interplay between the two of them. Like they did some of the songs that they have together, and then Big Boy took probably the majority of the set. And did, Outkast songs, original Big Boy songs, and then brought Killer Mike back out for Killer Mike to perform some songs from his new record, which he performed with a full choir.
The choir was incredible.
Yeah. Fantastic singers, and, really added the performance. And you could see, you're like, okay, I can tell why this guy won a Grammy for this album, because it was incredible to see live. So you can't control the weather, but kudos to GMF for pulling out an amazing last-minute headliner. I know that everybody that stuck around in the rain all day were really excited to see Killer Mike and Big Boy, and it was definitely worth the wait and worth the cold and probably the sickness that we're going to have from standing out in the cold rain all day.
Nobody was complaining, that's for damn sure.
Yeah. I love GMF this year. I thought it was a great time. I heard through the grapevine, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but they didn't hit me with an NDA yet, so I'm going to say it. I believe the festival is moving back to the March timeframe that they used to have in previous years.
Might be cool for the weather.
Yeah, it might be a little better. I know that there was some issues getting the March date at Julian B. Lane Park this year, so they're supposed to be moving back to that timeframe next year. So I think that'll be great. I also think that helps kind of pull bands because a little insider information, GMF is typically right before South by Southwest in Austin, so you get a lot of artists that are already coming to South by Southwest. They can do a little detour into the Bay Area, into Tampa, and then go back up north towards Austin and kind of make a tour out of it. So I think that helped pull some talent to the area as well. So definitely looking forward to the event moving back to March. So our first interview is with DJ Sandman, who DJ Sandman is a popular DJ in the Tampa Bay area. He was on 95.7 The Beat for a long time. Basically has been like one of the kingpins of Tampa hip hop for a very, very long time. And he opened the festival. So he was the first performer on Friday. He had a lengthy set, really kind of set the vibe, set the mood for the day and the weekend, so got to sit down and talk to him a little bit backstage. This is what he had to say. All right, we are here with the man who just opened Gasparilla Music Festival, opened the party up for us. So Sandman, DJ Sandman, what was that like?
Thank you so much for having me here. First of all, I appreciate it. It was a beautiful thing for me. I've been here in Tampa my whole life in the music scene and been doing stuff for years and years, and I've been following and attending GMF since its inception. And I've actually performed here with some other artists as their DJs, with some local artists in the past, but this was my first time kind of headlining, like my name in the lights. I had my own flyer, and I got to kick off the whole festival this year. So that was a beautiful thing for me.
That was very special. I heard some Black Star, some Mos Def and Talib Kweli as I was walking up to the stage, so it was like right in my element. It was good stuff. What did you kind of pull out for the set today?
So thanks for shouting that Black Star out too, right? Because I came into it not really knowing what I was going to do at first. We just came off of 50 years of hip hop last year, celebrating 50 years of hip hop, and I've always been a hip hop DJ, but I was like, let me get some records and breaks that were like there in the beginning of hip hop that helped start the whole movement. And I kind of threw those in a folder, and then everything else I freestyled. I just kind of went along with it. I had some of those to go to. And like I said, Black Star, De La Soul, I started out with a little reggae just to kind of set the vibe while people were coming in as well. And I just freestyled it, to be honest.
That's amazing knowing that. I thought you had planned this, you know. I thought you'd been scheming on it, you know.
I thought about it for a little while, and I try. A lot of times when I DJ, I'll try to plan, and I might take like 5 or 6 records like I want to play these. But that's it. I only take like 5 or 6, and then I'll just kind of build around that and around that vibe, and then just whatever comes to me, I go with it. And it's always been like that, you know, most things I do.
That's amazing. So speaking of things you do, I have to ask, how's Illsboro Records going?
Illsboro Records has been incredible. It's been a great journey. Shout out to Jorge and the whole symphonic distribution team for that, and all the artists we're putting out. I mean, we're distributing a lot of artists, some from Tampa, some from other places. We just dropped, late last year, we put out a record with Mike Nichols and Method Man. Animated video that took off. I had some Tampa producers do remixes. It's been a beautiful thing.
That's amazing, man. I love Illsboro. I love a lot of the releases you guys are putting out. It's just, you know, it's cool. It's real hip hop. It's Tampa. It's local. You know, what made you start that label?
I've always been helping the local scene since I've been DJing, throwing local parties, promoting artists that I would get behind. You know, when I did TampaHipHop.com, and then I was on 95.7 The Beat for about 17 years, and when they did some restructuring, I got let go. Jorge and I had a meeting with Symphonic, and he's like, man, you should really start a label. You know, we want to work with you. And I always wanted to start a label. Like, I put some records out independently before myself, but doing the radio and being so busy with that and all the clubs, I never had a lot of time to dedicate to it. So when I got off the radio full time, I just had a lot more time to do it, you know, to put a lot more energy into it. And it's been a beautiful thing ever since.
That's amazing, man. It's amazing. So 50 years of hip hop. What is the earliest hip hop record that you remember listening to? Like, what was the first one?
I'm old school, man. So I remember being really, really young, like driving with my parents down Kennedy Boulevard and flipping radio stations. And that's probably when I heard Rapper's Delight. You know, I was a kid, like I was a young kid. And after that, I started hearing Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5, and I went into UTFO and Houdini, and then the whole Run DMC, Fat Boys, LL era. But the first records I ever bought was a crew called Rockmaster Scott and the Dynamic 3. They had a record called Request Line and The Roof Is on Fire. Back when I was in middle school, they would play those at the dances, man. But those were the first hip-hop 12 inches that I bought.
Nice, man. It doesn't get much more classic than Rapper's Delight. I mean, that's kind of the OG, you know.
Yeah, so. That's the OG. And then you know, as I kept listening and studying the culture, I learned all of the artists before Rapper's Delight that were doing it before there was records. And I studied and enjoyed them. Like I said, Furious 5, Cold Crush Brothers. Shout out to DJ Charlie Chase, who's actually a Tampa resident now as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's one of the pioneers of hip hop. First Puerto Rican DJ in hip hop ever. And that's a quote from Grandmaster Flash.
That's amazing. We'll have to talk to him someday, you know.
Yeah, I can help you set that up, definitely.
Let's do it. What are you excited for this year at GMF?
Man, I'm excited to see I'm really excited to see H tonight, because he's been a friend of mine ever since he's been out here promoting, and he was doing shows, performing for years, and he kind of stopped performing and helping other artists out, and now he's back with new music, and he's hitting the stage tonight. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Pusha Preem. I'm definitely looking forward to Diggable Planets too. I've been able to help break their records here when they first came out, and I've had the chance to open up for them twice in Tampa back in the days, and their show was incredible. You know, their show was incredible with the band, live band. I'm looking forward to seeing Diggable Planets, and I'm looking forward to seeing Goody Mob too, because that's soul food. Yeah, that's going to be amazing as well.
Yeah, I was so stoked when they got added to the lineup. It was just incredible. So any final thoughts?
I just want to say thank you to the whole city of Tampa, man, for supporting my whole journey through music here, and just GMF for having me out here to set the festival off in 2024. It's a beautiful thing.
All right, Sandman. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
All right, so that was Sandman. Next, we talked to The boys from Alien House, who performed at the Row House stage, which was there's the Tampa River Center, and at the first floor of the River Center, there's rowboats. I guess like they had the like the UT team has rowboats there, and like whoever else, what other schools have rowboats. They like I guess park them there. And it's literally right on the water. Like if somebody wanted to jump in the water, they could very easily jump in the water. Yeah. So Alien House played there Friday night. Really good, really great set. Had a lot of energy. That stage by Sunday was basically completely rained out. So they moved that stage upstairs into the boat center. Which actually was kind of made for a cool feel as well. Made a little bit more sense. This was the one stage where I felt like it was a little disconnected from the rest of the festival. So, if I had to give some criticism, that would be it. Is that this one was kind of a hike to get to.
It was away from all the food and drink.
Yes.
If you wanted to see a band there, you had to be a little more committed to go see a band there.
It was a destination stage for sure.
Absolutely.
So I made the destination to Alien House, and I was rewarded with an excellent set from them. I'm looking forward to seeing more music from those guys, and I think that their sound is something really cool. So
hell yeah.
So here's Alien House.
We're here with Justin and Anthony from Alien House, who just rocked is it the Boathouse stage?
Row House stage, yeah.
The Row House stage. So they put Alien House in the Row House. Was that intentional?
Maybe. Yeah, that could have been intentional on their part. Who knows?
Really dope set, guys. This is the first time I've actually seen you live. So how do you actually describe your sound?
Man, that's a hard one. Like I mean, I always just drift to say it's like electronic music because that, it is, we're all, using electronics for what we do, but I would say our stuff spans the whole like electronic genre world. Like we have songs that are more housey, and we have songs that are more trance-like. We got some electro type jams. I mean, it all really depends on like what the vibe is that we're going for a given set. And like, Ray Roa, who introduced us, I think he kind of described it well. Like our last album was more of like a mixtape because I feel like every song was, genre spanning in a sense. Like nothing was exactly the same as the previous track on the album. So, we're big hip hop fans too, and we've always liked that mixtape idea, like mixtape mentality of having a bunch of different styles of like music, different artists involved. Even having Riley perform with us, like, I think we've done albums where we stay in a lane and we do like, stick to a genre for the whole thing, but I think that we really thrive in that area of like switching things up and making it interesting, not only for the audience, but for us too. So.
Yeah, I agree with Justin. It's like very collage, drawing a lot of influence from a lot of different electronic genres. It really just is about album to album. We kind of talk to each other and think about, how we want to approach the tracks and like what, like Justin said, what the vibe is. As cliche as that can sound, it's kind of whatever we feel like. And we listen to a ton of electronic music, so you'll hear, IDM, you'll hear trap beats, you'll hear a bunch of different things kind of layered into each other. So yeah, it's hard to...
Yeah, there's kind of this new, sort of Tampa sound, this Gulf Coast sound is what They Hate Change calls it, where like it's a mix of hip hop and electronic and different things. Do you guys feel like you're a part of that?
I haven't heard anyone say it to us, but I mean, it kind of fits the description a little bit. I'm not too familiar with it, to be honest. Maybe I should listen.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think that we're like kind of in that realm, like Ray had kind of mentioned, like we've been playing music together as a group for 13 years now, and I've been involved in like various projects over the last 15 plus years. I have a solo project where I do kind of more beat driven instrumentals and even ambient stuff. But yeah, I feel like Tampa and even St. Pete, Clearwater, the Gulf Coast, the Tampa Bay area, like it's always been very eclectic in the mix of like sounds that people bring. And I think it's just like the nature of the city, like the way the city changes, like we embrace that change and try to convey it in the music that we're making too. So yeah, like as time goes on, I think your influences are going to change, and there might be things that you pinch from and make it into your own collage of a sound. But yeah, I would like to think that we're a part of that movement in a sense. And like people like They Hate Change are really pushing that sound on like a larger scale. Having the exposure that they have, it's kind of been shining more of a light on other artists in this area that are doing what we're doing.
So you're performing here at Gasparilla Music Festival, or you just performed at Gasparilla Music Festival today, and I know you're performing at another festival in Gainesville, right? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that festival is called Big Culture and Arts Festival. It's happening on April 13th. It's a one-day festival from 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. We're also performing there with They Hate Change. Seafoam Walls is playing. Kaylin Ellis. I mean, it's a lot of different people that are on that bill, but I would say that bill is more like electronic, DJ, R&B, hip-hop focused. Dion Dia is a group, like a music collective record label, kind of like almost like a booking type of group, I guess you could say. They put on a lot of different events in the city, and they're the ones that asked us to be a part of it, and they're the ones that are hosting the event. And I feel like they're curating that kind of like Florida sound. Their whole purpose for that event was to shine light on Florida and then bring in some bigger national acts as well. So we're excited to be a part of that. This being our first festival, we like the vibe. I think anytime that you can play to a group of people who, might not have ever heard your music before or gone to your show on their own, to have that exposure is great. And I think that's what makes festivals so cool. Anytime I get to go to a festival, I get exposed to so much music that I might not have heard otherwise. And it's a great starting point for people who are just trying to find new sounds.
Yeah, that's right on. You want to add anything to that?
I like festivals as well, and it was nice. And I'm excited for Gainesville. I know that we played there back in the day, and they had a really cool electronic scene. So it's nice to be back there, honestly, and play with some of those same people. So I'm excited.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I think this festival, GMF does a great job of also highlighting like an eclectic mix of genres and styles. So it was really cool that you guys were on the bill and to see you, here tonight. So. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
Support local music, support the artists that are in your area. I mean, just support music in general. It's, being a creative is like a thankless job in a sense. Like, people will appreciate your music, but it really takes the artist to keep pushing themselves, to keep playing music. And when you have a fan base, or you have just anybody that's appreciative of what you're doing, it makes you want to continue to do it. So, even if we just have one person that comes up to us after a show and says that was cool, or we like the sound, or I've never heard of you guys, I'm going to give you a follow. Like, that's what makes it all worthwhile. Like, obviously we make the music for ourselves, but to have that connection with other people is huge. We thank the city of Tampa and Gasparilla Music Festival for having us. Having that exposure to a broader audience is huge. And, we look forward to being back another year and hopefully playing on a larger stage for some more people. Keep an eye out. We have some other shows coming up. March 16th, we're playing at Oscura in Bradenton with some more electronic acts that are kind of in our friend group and in the same vein of what we're doing. And then, Big Culture Arts and Festival is coming up April 13th in Gainesville. So those are going to be our last couple of shows for the year before we start to focus on what's next for Alien House.
Yeah, and go listen to our album You and let us know what you think. We worked really hard on it, and we're really proud of it, and we'd love to hear your feedback.
Right on.
So that was Alien House, and last but not least, we have an interview with Capitol Records recording artist, originally from Tampa, Florida, a graduate of Jesuit High School, like yours truly, and like Jason, Aidan Bissett. So Aidan basically got popular in high school, like released music on his own, and somehow got the attention of Capitol Records and became a national recording artist while he was still at Jesuit, which
pretty cool.
Which is very cool.
Yeah.
He talks a little bit about that in this interview. One thing I wanted to mention is I learned this weekend the ladies love Aidan Bissett.
They go nuts, man.
The ladies love him. Even the older ladies, there was a woman who was working the festival who told me after she saw me talking to Aidan, she said, "Oh man, that's a beautiful boy." And he's a very good looking kid.
He was beset on all sides by women.
Yeah, it's funny because she actually said to me, it must be hard for him to be so good looking. That's what she said. And yeah, I guess it must be difficult.
I guess.
It must be a rough life. But he's really good looking. He's really talented. He makes great music. And he's our friend's cousin.
Yeah, he's Alex's cousin.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
cool. This is Aidan Bissett. All right, we are here with the one and only Aidan Bissett, who is, in fact, a Jesuit Tampa graduate. Did you graduate?
Yes, I did graduate from Jesuit Tampa.
Okay, so I'm a Jesuit graduate. Jason, our producer on the show, is also a Jesuit graduate. So, we have to ask, what was it like going to Jesuit? What was it like being a man for others?
Well, it's a brotherhood, of course. But I enjoyed it. It was. I learned a lot about critical thinking and how to push through when things are tough. I think one thing that they do really well as a school is just teach boys how to work and work ethic. So I loved it.
Definitely about the work ethic. Yeah, for sure. So did you start doing music while you were at Jesuit? Like, were you with Miss Wegman or?
No, actually, I was doing it very much in the background. I honestly didn't tell the school until I was like 2 months out of graduating. I had signed with Capitol. But yeah, I kept it on the low. I just didn't want anyone to know until it became really hard to balance both worlds. And that's when I was like, okay, school needs to know that I'm now working a full-time job.
Yeah. So you were still in high school when you signed to Capitol?
Yeah. I was halfway through my senior year of high school was when I signed.
So what was that like? I mean, were all your friends just like, hey, you're going to meet Taylor Swift and stuff now?
I honestly, I didn't tell my friends. I literally kept it to myself until I had to tell the school. And at that point, yeah, my friends were all like, what in the world? We had no idea you were doing this. And we had no idea it was so serious. And I was like, yeah, I didn't really either. But it became very real very fast.
Yeah, and it is serious. I mean, I feel like you've like exploded in popularity over the last couple of years. So what was kind of the start of that?
Honestly, just posting online and learning how to produce on my own because I didn't have the resources to go and pay somebody to produce. So I just watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to write and produce and took singing lessons because I was a horrible singer. But yeah, the love for it was just like, it was there for me and I felt like I had to do it.
I think there are a lot of people that would argue that you're not a horrible singer, indeed. But I heard that Michelle was telling us that there were just girls flocking to you earlier today, saying that they're your biggest fans. I mean, is that all just new to you, or what's the deal with that?
Yeah, that's very new, and I don't think I'd ever get used to that. Very flattering, and they're very sweet people. Anybody who listens to my music, I'm very thankful for them. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
So did you ever go to Gasparilla Music Festival like before, obviously now you're performing in about an hour, but did you come to GMF before that?
Yeah, actually I had been twice. My favorite set I had seen was Spoon. I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, but man, that was incredible.
Love Spoon. Awesome, man. So what are you working on now? What can we expect, coming up in Aidan Bissett world?
Yeah, I'm working on my debut album, which is a really cool thing. I've really focused up and learned how to tell stories a bit better, and I'm bringing in people who are better than me at writing and producing. So I'm learning a lot from new mentors and creating something I'm really proud of.
Awesome. When can we expect that? Can you tease it?
Yeah. Hoping for the fall. But in the meantime, I am going on a headline tour in April. And we're coming through Florida. So, I mean, everybody should pull up. But yeah, lots of touring before then, and hopefully the album in the fall.
All right. Awesome. We'll definitely try to be in touch again when you come through Florida again. So, that's awesome. So what is it like being at Gasparilla Music Festival? What's the vibe been like so far?
It's very chill, which is sweet, especially because my family lives here. So I've been able to just go home and decompress. So it's kind of knocking out two birds with one stone in the sense of like, festivals can be really stressful. But this has been the easiest in my experience, although I have limited experience. But yeah, it's been great. It's been just nice to be with family.
That's awesome, man. It's cool that your family still lives here and you can, pop in and see them all. That's great. So any quick final thoughts for the fans?
Yeah, we got a new song, Planet, coming out next week. And tour in April, tour in the fall, album in the fall. Just be looking out for all that stuff.
Amazing. Aidan, thank you so much for your time. It was good to chat with you. Can we get Nussy? All right.
I didn't hold you
All of these things I have beset upon you.